When a man truly loves you, you don't have to guess. You don't have to beg. Love doesn't hide in mixed signals or broken promises. It shows up in action. And the truth is, real love isn't loud words, it's consistent proof. Today, I want to share with you 5 things, 5 undeniable actions that a man will only do if he really loves you. And when you see these signs, you'll never question where you stand again. When a man really loves you, one of the first things you'll notice is that you don't have to fight for a place in his life. You don't have to compete with his distractions. You don't have to keep reminding him that you're there, and you don't have to beg for his time. He makes you a priority because in his heart, you already are one. That's the quiet beauty of real love. It shows up without being asked, and it rearranges itself to make room for you. Think about it this way. We all make time for the things that matter to us. No one is too busy for something they truly value. A man who says he loves you but never shows up, never calls, or never makes space for you, he's showing you something too. Love doesn't have to be decoded. It's either present in his actions or it's not. And when it is, you'll feel it. He won't need to announce it in grand speeches because you'll see it in the choices he makes every single day. When he really loves you, his calendar doesn't just revolve around him anymore, it expands to include you. If he has a long day, he'll still find 5 minutes to check in. If his friends are calling, but he knows you need him, he'll choose to be there with you. It's not about neglecting his life, it's about weaving you into it. And that's the difference between being someone's convenience and being someone's priority. Love at its core is sacrifice. It doesn't mean giving up everything that makes him who he is, but it does mean adjusting, bending, and sometimes letting go of what's comfortable for the sake of what's important. So if you notice a man constantly choosing to make room for you, even in the small ways, that's not an accident, that's intention. That's love moving from words to action. Now, some people confuse attention with love. Attention is temporary, it's that spark at the beginning when everything is new and exciting. But priority, that's different. Priority is long-term. It doesn't fade when the novelty wears off. It doesn't vanish when life gets messy. A man who loves you will keep showing up, even when it's not convenient, even when it costs him something, even when no one else is watching. Because for him, your place in his life isn't negotiable. It's easy to talk about love when it feels good, but the truth is revealed in those everyday choices, the ones that seem small but carry weight. Does he cancel plans just to be with you when you need him? Does he remember the little things that matter to you, even when you didn't remind him? Does he make sure you never feel like you're interrupting his life, but instead a part of it? Those are the moments where you'll see the truth. And here's what's powerful. When a man puts you first, you'll never feel like you're chasing him. You'll never feel like you're trying to prove your worth. You'll never sit around wondering why he hasn't called, why he hasn't shown up, why you feel like an afterthought. Because love that's real, love that's deep, eliminates the confusion. It makes you feel secure. It makes you feel chosen. So if you're with someone who makes you a priority, honor that, value it, don't overlook it because it's not wrapped in constant fireworks. Fireworks fade, consistency lasts, and when a man really loves you, you won't need to question it. You'll see it in how he places you at the center of his decisions, and you'll feel it in the way he never lets you doubt your place in his life. When a man really loves you, he doesn't just protect you from what's outside. He protects you from what could hurt you on the inside too. Anyone can step in if someone disrespects you in public. Anyone can puff their chest when danger shows up on the street, but that's not the true test of love. The real test is how he treats your heart when the two of you are alone. It's in the words he chooses when he's angry, in the patience he shows when you're vulnerable, in the way he carries your insecurities as if they were his own. That's where love either proves itself or falls apart. When a man truly loves you, he's careful with his tone. He doesn't weaponize your flaws. He doesn't throw your past in your face just to win an argument. He doesn't use silence as punishment or withdraw affection to control you. That's not love. That's manipulation. Love understands that words can bruise deeper than fists, and once they're said, you can't take them back. So he thinks before he speaks, because protecting your heart matters more to him than being right in the moment. And this protection isn't about treating you as fragile, it's about honoring you as valuable. He sees your heart not as something weak, but as something precious. He knows that the things you've shared with him, your fears, your secrets, the pieces of you that you don't show the world, those are treasures. And treasures aren't tossed around carelessly. They're guarded, they're respected, they're held with care. A man who really loves you also knows the difference between honesty and cruelty. Honesty tells the truth with compassion. Cruelty disguises itself as just being real while cutting you down. When he loves you, he speaks the truth, yes, but he does it in a way that builds you, not breaks you. He doesn't shrink your confidence to feel taller himself. He doesn't belittle your dreams so that his can shine brighter. He wants to see you stand tall, not shrink back. He protects the parts of you that the world already tries to tear down. And you'll feel it most in conflict, because conflict is where masks fall off. A man can say he loves you 100 times a day, but when the argument starts, that's when you see what's real. Does he raise his voice, slam doors, throw words like daggers? Or does he pause, breathe, and choose patience even when it's hard? Does he listen, even if it stings his pride? Because keeping your heart safe matters more than proving a point. That's what love does. It slows down enough to protect instead of destroy. Protection also means he guards your trust. When you share your deepest fears or your wildest dreams, he doesn't turn around and laugh at them, he doesn't expose them to others, and he doesn't dismiss them as silly. He carries them close, because he understands that trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it's hard to rebuild. Protecting your heart means he creates a space where you can be fully yourself without fear of being mocked, abandoned, or misunderstood. And sometimes protecting your heart doesn't look like saying anything at all. It looks like being quiet when you need silence, or holding you when you can't find the words. It looks like standing steady when your emotions are storming. It looks like refusing to give up on you when you're struggling with yourself. That's the kind of protection that lasts because it's rooted in love, not ego. So when a man really loves you, you'll know it not just because he shields you from the world, but because he shields you from unnecessary pain within your relationship. He doesn't break you down. He builds you up. He doesn't expose your wounds. He covers them. And most importantly, he makes sure that your heart feels safe in his hands. When a man really loves you, you'll notice something about the way he listens. He doesn't just nod his head while his mind is somewhere else. He doesn't give you half his attention while his eyes are on a screen, and he doesn't rush you to finish so he can jump in with his own thoughts. No, when he loves you, his listening shifts from being casual to being intentional. He listens not just with his ears, but with his presence. He's not waiting for his turn to speak. He's leaning in to understand, and that difference is powerful. Most people hear words, but they don't always catch the meaning behind them. They respond to what's said on the surface, not to the feeling underneath. But when a man truly loves you, he hears both. He notices the hesitation in your tone, the way your voice softens when you're unsure, the way it rises when you're excited. He catches those little pauses that signal you're holding something back. He's tuned into the details because your voice matters to him, and not just the voice he hears out loud, the voice you keep quiet to. Listening in love isn't about solving problems, it's about creating safety. You don't always need answers. Sometimes you just need space to process, to vent, to release. And a man who loves you gets that. He doesn't cut you off to fix it right away. He doesn't dismiss your feelings with a quick, "You'll be fine," or "Don't worry about it." Instead, he sits with you in it. He lets your emotions exist without rushing to silence them, because he knows that the way he listens tells you something deeper. It tells you your feelings are valid, your thoughts are important, and your voice deserves to be heard. And it's not only in the serious conversations, it's in the small ones too. When you talk about your day, he listens. When you share something that excites you, he shares your excitement. When you ramble about something random, he stays engaged because he knows if it matters to you, then it matters to him. That's love showing up in the ordinary moments. It's easy to pay attention when the conversation is deep, but real love listens even when the topic is light. Another thing you'll notice is that he remembers what you say. Not because he has a perfect memory, but because he values your words. He recalls the details you thought he might forget, the story about your childhood, the little thing you mentioned you wanted, the struggle you casually shared weeks ago. He brings it back later, and it surprises you because you realize he wasn't just listening, he was holding on to what you said. That's how you know he cares, because remembering is proof that he was present. And let's be real, listening is an act of humility. It requires setting aside distractions, pride, and even the need to always have an answer. When a man really loves you, he's willing to slow down. He doesn't treat your words as background noise. He treats them as part of the connection you're building. He listens because he wants to know you more deeply. He listens because he wants to make sure you never feel invisible in his presence. He listens because to him, your thoughts are not interruptions. They are invitations to know your heart better. So when you find yourself with a man who listens with presence, who gives you not just his ears but his full attention, you'll feel the difference. You won't feel like you're talking to a wall. You won't feel like you're being tolerated. You'll feel heard, valued, and understood. And when that happens, you'll know without question that his love isn't just something he says, it's something he shows every time he chooses to listen with his whole heart. When a man really loves you, you'll notice it most not in the bright days, when everything feels easy, but in the hard ones. It's in those seasons of life when you're carrying weight you can't put into words, when you're tired in your spirit, when nothing feels steady. That's where love either fades away or becomes undeniable. Because it's easy to stand beside someone when they're shining, when they're laughing, when life feels good. But it's not as easy to stand beside them when they're broken, when they're doubtful, when they're at their lowest. That's where a man's love proves what it's really made of. A man who truly loves you doesn't vanish when things get messy. He doesn't only want the version of you that's put together, smiling, confident, and strong. He wants all of you, even the fragile, uncertain, hurting parts. He doesn't disappear when tears replace laughter or when silence replaces conversation. He becomes steady, almost like an anchor in the storm. He doesn't try to run away from your pain, he leans in. And the way he shows up in those moments tells you more about his love than anything else ever could. Sometimes showing up doesn't mean having the right words. Sometimes it's not about fixing what you're going through or giving you a list of solutions. Real love understands that brokenness doesn't always need answers, it needs presence. And so he sits with you in the heaviness. He holds your hand when you can't hold yourself together. He stays close when life feels unbearable. He reminds you, not always through words but through his presence, that you are not alone in this. That's love. And it's important to see the difference between convenience and commitment here. Convenience says, I'll be here when it feels good. Commitment says, I'll be here even when it doesn't. A man who loves you doesn't check out when you're struggling emotionally, financially, or mentally. He doesn't make you feel like you're a burden for being human. Instead, he creates a safe space where your weakness isn't judged but held. And sometimes, that quiet faithfulness is the very thing that helps you rise again. Think about how many people scatter when life gets hard. Friends disappear, acquaintances drift away, even family sometimes grows silent. But when a man truly loves you, He refuses to add to that list of people who walked away when you needed them most. He digs in. He may not have all the answers, but his love says, I'm not leaving. I'm not afraid of this part of you. I'm not afraid of this chapter in your story. That kind of love doesn't run. It stays. And what's powerful is that showing up in your lowest moments isn't just about being physically present. It's also about emotional presence. It's in the way he listens to you cry without telling you to stop. It's in the way he respects your silence without forcing you to explain yourself. It's in the way he believes in you when you've stopped believing in yourself. He's not just in the room. He's with you, in spirit, holding space for you to be exactly where you are without fear of rejection. So when a man really loves you, you'll know it when life feels heavy. You'll know it when you're not at your best, when you feel undone, when you're not bringing much to the table but your tears and your doubts. Because in those moments, he doesn't walk away, he leans closer. And it's in your lowest valleys that his love proves it was never conditional in the first place. When a man really loves you, he's not just thinking about his own path, his own dreams, or his own growth. He's invested in yours too. He doesn't see your success as competition, he sees it as partnership. He wants to see you rise, and he doesn't just clap when you win. He actually encourages you to step into spaces you may have doubted you belonged in. That's the kind of love that transforms a relationship because it shifts from me to it. A man who loves you genuinely wants you to become the fullest version of yourself. He notices your talents, your passions, the things that light you up, and instead of ignoring them or brushing them off, he highlights them. He speaks life into your potential. When you second guess yourself, he reminds you of what you're capable of. When you start to shrink back out of fear, he challenges you to step forward anyway, not because he's pushing you, but because he believes in you even when you struggle to believe in yourself. There's something powerful about being with someone who refuses to dim your light. Too many relationships turn into quiet battles for control, where one person feels threatened if the other shines too brightly. But real love doesn't operate that way. Real love celebrates your victories as if they're his own. Real love is proud to stand beside you, not in front of you, not behind you, but right there, cheering you on. When he really loves you, your growth doesn't scare him, it excites him. And here's the thing, investing in your growth doesn't always show up in big dramatic gestures. Most of the time, it's in the little things. It's in the way he asks about your goals, not just casually, but with genuine interest. It's in how he listens when you talk about what you want for your future. It's in how he supports the decisions that align with your purpose, even if those decisions require sacrifice. Maybe it's late nights when you're studying, or weekends when you're building something, or even moments when you're so focused that you don't have as much time to give him. If he really loves you, he doesn't guilt you for it. He understands it. Because he's not just loving who you are now, he's loving who you're becoming. And it doesn't stop at encouragement. He actively removes barriers where he can. Maybe that means helping with responsibilities so you have the time and space to chase your dreams. Maybe it means pushing you to rest when he sees you burning out, because he knows growth also requires balance. Maybe it's as simple as reminding you that you don't have to carry everything alone. His love shows up in the way he shares the load so you can keep moving forward without losing yourself in the process. When a man invests in your growth, you'll never feel like you have to choose between the relationship and your calling. You'll feel like the relationship is fueling it. You'll feel supported, not restricted. You'll feel like your dreams are seen and valued, not dismissed as distractions. And that kind of love is rare because it requires selflessness. It requires security. It requires a heart that isn't intimidated by your strength, but inspired by it. So when you find a man who encourages you to grow, who pushes you toward your best self, who celebrates your victories and stays patient through your struggles, hold on to that, because a man who really loves you doesn't just want to share life with who you are today. He wants to share life with every incredible version of you that's still yet to come. When a man really loves you, the greatest evidence of that love isn't found in what he says once or even in what he does once. It's found in what he keeps doing over and over again. Love, when it's real, is not built on grand gestures that come and go like fireworks. It's built on steady, consistent actions that show up long after the excitement of the beginning fades. And that's the kind of consistency that separates love from infatuation. Infatuation burns bright but burns out quickly. Love, on the other hand, is a slow and steady flame. It doesn't flicker when the wind blows, it doesn't die out when things get hard, and it doesn't need constant restarting. It keeps going because it's built on commitment, not convenience. A man who really loves you won't only show up strong in the first weeks or months. He won't just put an effort to win you over and then let it fade once he has your heart. If his love is true, the effort stays. He'll still check in, he'll still notice the little things, he'll still make time for you even after years have passed. That's what consistency does. It keeps reminding you that you matter, not just today, not just yesterday, but tomorrow and beyond. It's easy to say, I love you, in the beginning when emotions are high and everything feels new. But real love isn't tested in the highs, it's tested in the everyday moments. It's tested when life gets busy, when stress piles up, when routines set in. Does he still choose you then? Does he still take your hand, still look at you with attention, still show you that you're not being taken for granted? If he really loves you, the answer will always be yes. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. He won't get it right every single time, because no one does. But what you'll notice is that even in the moments where he falls short, he circles back. He tries again. He doesn't just brush off mistakes or ignore the times he hurt you. He takes responsibility, he apologizes, and he makes the effort to do better. That's love. Because love isn't about never failing, it's about never giving up. Think about it like this: anyone can buy flowers once, anyone can plan a romantic evening once, anyone can show up with energy once, but consistency means you never have to wonder if he'll show up again. You never have to question if his effort was temporary. You never have to live in the uncertainty of, will he still care tomorrow? When a man truly loves you, his actions answer those questions before they're even asked. And what's powerful about consistency is that it creates security. It allows you to rest, to exhale, to trust. You don't have to carry anxiety about where you stand because he shows you over and over again. He proves that his love isn't situational, it isn't seasonal, and it isn't dependent on how easy things are. It's steady, it's faithful, it's dependable. So when you're with a man who loves you with consistency, you'll feel it in your bones. You'll feel safe. You'll feel chosen. You'll feel the kind of peace that only comes when actions match words, not once, not twice, but every single day. And that's how you know his love isn't just real, it's built to last.